Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back. This is the third quarter of the draw, and this is your streamed game on the main arena. Q centre stage, we see, just shaking hands with the ref now, is Scott Gillespie, winner of Event 1, and his opponent is the very familiar face of Chris Melling. I'm joined on the commentary by Mark Johnson. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, fine, fine.
Friend and sponsor of Scott Gillespie?
Yeah. 8 years now.
Yeah, wow. So you were over the moon after Event 1. You got a free roll for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it was absolute superb, and it was good. It was good. Yeah.
So he's got a tough draw here.
Very tough. Very tough.
Want to see that one come out of the bag. There's definitely an easier ride, but it shouldn't hold any fears for him. He knows this arena now.
Well, I mean, this is sort. I mean, anyone can beat. No, yeah. I mean, anyone. But yeah, titanic battle.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we've already seen a couple of great games in here. Mark Farnsworth earlier, getting dumped into the loser's side by Jack Whelan. And we've just seen Mick Hill against Mike King. Yeah. The draws don't really come any bigger than this one. And
Reds look good.
Scott also featured in the Champions Cup recently. Did he get to the semi-final?
Semi-finals. He played Liam Dunster. 6-3. So, but Liam's just a solid machine.
Yeah, he really is. So it's Scott with his first look at the table and nominating yellows. Quite something, really, when you think that he's probably more of a staunch Blackpool player, and also, played Liam Dunster in the final of Event 1, another Blackpool player, both meeting in the final of a World Rules event. Of course, both from Scotland. It shows the strength and depth of the players that you've got coming out of Scotland now. It's incredible.
Yes, well, there's Liam, there's Scott Ross, Matt Boyle. Yeah. It's a really tough field now. Getting stronger. And
do these boys? I mean, I was talking about Liam Dunster earlier, and obviously he's, kind of going from strength to strength. He's still a young man, but he's achieving a lot in the game already. Does he? I mean, do all these guys practice against each other? Are they?
No, well, Liam's from Lake Fife.
Okay.
Scott's from Central Belt.
Yeah.
So Scott, he'll come up against Scott Ross a few times, Matt Boyle, but Liam's more Dunfermline, so...
Yeah.
Let's see. Oops.
Well, good cue power, but he really got into that one way too much, and he's left himself in a bit of trouble. I mean, he's...
Tied that yellow.
Yeah, he's got a double.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much it. He can take the one at the top of the table first and then take the double afterwards if he wants to get himself a slightly better angle. We saw Chris Melling in Event 1 on stream, and we saw how he can flow when he hits his stride. I was going to say, I thought that was there for a second, but just taking the jaw. So we get our first look at Chris Melling. First look at the table. He's got an opener. I think he'll fancy this.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there's a...
It's just cold. That's he should get that.
Yeah.
But saying that, I think he's actually landed...
Yeah, he's been a bit fortunate there. I mean, there's a tricky little cut down the rail, but even that, it's trying to get the cue ball back to top of table.
He's going for it.
Yeah. Tough shot, this one.
Nice.
Especially in the first frame. There's quite a lot of interest at the back of the room through the window. There's a game going on. I know Ben Mackey is in action over there, and he's playing Jason Morris, and they're currently locked up at 10 frames each, and I know that will be in quite a lot of people's betting slips. So 10 frames each, and you can hear some shrieks in the background. There's a bit of excitement. A lot of people, a lot of interest in that game. I see that's going to make or break quite a few people's accumulators, I reckon. That's a nice shot. It's gonna have to find something here.
Yeah. Back kick the black, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's his only option.
No.
No, so Chris now with a lot more presentable chance. And he'll enjoy the opportunity to get his hand on the table.
Yeah.
Start working through the balls. That long and languid, very familiar backstroke that Chris has got. Beautiful cue action. Sporting a new set of tattoos up his left arm. Never seen Chris with tattoos before, and they look like they're a work in progress. The one we had a close-up of the bottom of his arm earlier. It's like a kind of globe, a world map with a roulette wheel around the outside. I know he likes a little punt, so might be a nod to that. But I say he's been spending quite a lot of time with Jason Shaw recently, so that might be Jason's influence. He likes the odd tattoo or two, doesn't he?
Yeah, it is.
Jason was in action. I know he was quite comfortably ahead, so I'd have to assume that he won that one. Darren Appleton's now in action. He's playing over on one of the other stream tables, on table 3. He's currently 2-1 up against Matt Schofield. Sean Chipperfield now playing. He's playing Sanjay Patel, who's a fixture up in JJ Falls Club in Manchester. Sean currently 2-1 up against Sanjay. Jordan Church is playing Lee Washbrook. Jordan was a firm favourite in that one. He's 2-1 up. All of these games just starting. Leo Boomerah and Jamie Murray. I know Jamie Murray is his name's been called a couple of times, and he's on the clock. So it doesn't look like Jamie's turned up yet. So if you're listening in, Jamie, you need to get down to the club. Drew Hughes, 9-4 up against John Rowe. Toby Bolt, 10-9 against Lewis Calcutt. And that result has gone through in the Hill match between Mackey and Jason Morris. And Mackey won 11 frames to 10. So Mackey wins the decider.
Dry break.
Yep.
Yeah.
So did you play yourself, Mark?
Yeah, but not these rules, black ball rules I play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just local, just about Scotland I play. Scott's got one bad by Jello there.
Yeah, he's got this yellow tied up on the side row. He's got
a chance to take
an angle, yeah. navigated that one successfully, and it should be fairly plain sailing. It's just about cue ball control now.
Oh,
yeah, that's
Chinese. Awkward queuing now.
That's horribly hampered, and although Scott's quite a tall fellow, he's this is horrible.
Yeah, very horrible. Oh,
Yeah.
he's well off that.
Yeah,
well
it's
off
resulted in him missing that one. That's they're just so difficult. Some players play them really well, and other players, I mean, I certainly struggle, even though I'm quite tall. As soon as you start elevating that cue, it becomes infinitely more difficult shot, and it presents Chris with a very good opportunity.
Yeah.
Probably come just an inch or two higher than he expected.
Yeah, I'll not miss these ones. Yep. Very comfortable.
Yeah, he makes the game look quite easy when he's
Yeah,
throwing,
yeah, he
doesn't
does. He does.
So,
This morning in the hotel, he was telling us he's had 33 flights this year.
33 flights,
Yeah.
wow. I know he's been all over the place. I think he's just come back from Ibiza, and then before that he was in the States, just before that he was in China.
Yeah.
I think he was on a lad's holiday somewhere. Incredible. So the referee is George. You see him using the shark rack. Each one of the referees has their own way of setting the balls up. Some players set them up in the rack and then slide them forward onto the shark rack. I think most refs just find it just as easy to do it this way. They have their own pattern. There's no real right and wrong way of doing it. Have you tried playing with it at all?
Not at all, no.
No?
No, I haven't.
You get...
Looks effective, but it really does look effective.
yeah, it's like a bomb burst when when they time them. And Scott, we see his break again. He times them really well. I remember in the final of the first event, he had a stunning break. Lovely timing. I mean, look at that spread.
Yeah.
And you seem to always get a far more even spread between the top and the bottom half of the table. You know, there's a couple balls near the middle, but there's 5 or 6 in the top half and 5 or 6 in the bottom half. So it quite often lends itself to a better pattern around the table because you can work from one end down. Just gives you a bit more space. So either set has its problem. The little cluster of 2 yellows and a red on the left-hand cushion.
Yeah, he has got a awkward red there, just beside the yellow, yes. But it really needs this frame.
Yeah.
Get back into it.
Yeah.
Arm going in that, yeah.
10 seconds. Extension.
So Scott using his extension, they get 45 seconds on the clock, and they get the 10-second warning. So he will get 1 extension per frame. So it looks like he's going to play this red and try and attack that difficult one straight away. He played a really lovely, delicate shot there, just to nudge into those 2 yellows and hold on that One difficult red down the rail. Still not quite ideal. May need to come twice across the table here.
Sure. Oh.
It's not as he planned, but well, it's certainly, he's going to have to go to plan B now, but he's still at the table. The next shot's going to be the key. He's got this one along the rail, he can top it through, but the one after this, he's going to be playing long. That's a nice shot.
Yeah.
And he's done well to find the opening of the pocket as well, so he can cue right into the back of the ball. So again, you fancy him now. Cued that really nicely. Yeah. Very, very well.
Oh, I think he's just too far.
No, I think he's okay. Actually, well, I don't know, looking at the overhead.
I think I'll just need to drop this into the centre and come round for the black.
I don't think it goes middle, actually. I think he's going to have to go long.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. So just that tiny little error, just the extra inch of pace, made it that much more difficult. You really fancied him for the clearance there. So
Still a bit of work for Chris to do.
Yeah. Scott not quite settled yet. He's looking quite.
No, he's not. He's not. Look at himself actually.
He's looking quite tanned. Has he been away on holiday?
No, he's not.
He's not.
It's very sunny up in Scotland just now.
Yeah. Just enjoying the weather in the back garden.
Yeah.
So Chris tried to move the difficult red on the side, didn't quite get it right. But he's keeping the break going.
Yeah,
he's got
it now.
He's got a perfect angle to get it. Just needs to be a little bit careful, doesn't want to hit it down the rail with the red waiting. Oh, he's played that very well.
Perfect.
Lovely. Really nice. Great cueing. Just so smooth. And I think the odds with the bookie has been kind of to and fro with these two, isn't it? I think they both started at 5 to 6.
Yeah, they did, but they didn't change and made Melling evens.
Yeah.
So.
And then the last time I looked, Scott was evens and Melling was into 8 to 11. So I'm thinking quite a few people must have weighed into Melling at evens. So yeah, he played this really well. Trusting a little bit to luck, but played it at such a pace where he knew he was going to give himself a chance. Chris is so good at those development shots. He's really has got great cue ball control. His vision for moving balls is just second to none. Still a look of determination there.
Yeah, he's.
I know he's already got a bit of an uphill battle, but we know Scott can. He can
pull it back. That's that. I mean, Scott's.
He can put frames together. Can't he? We saw it in the final.
Yes, I mean he's just his caliber's just second to none actually.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Darren Appleton now 3-2 against Matt Schofield. They've shared the next 2 frames. Gareth Hibbett is now in action. He is playing against Jez Graham.
Dan Davey 10 each.
Yeah, Dan Davey against Gareth Higgins. I think Dan came flying at the blocks. He was like 4-0 up, I think. That one's hill. That's probably about the 7th match today that's gone hill. Rob Chilton 3-1 up against Rich Wharton. And Jordan Church 4-2 against Lee Washbrook. Sean Chipperfield and Sanjay Patel currently tied at 2 frames apiece. And Mark Asprey's 2-0 up against the bouncer Simon Fitzsimmons. But we turn our attention back.
He's took yellows here.
Chris with another successful break. So it looks like he'll be cutting this ball and coming twice across the table. In fact, 2.5 times across the table. I don't think that's any good. You need to be further across.
I don't think it's enough, is it?
No, it's not. No, you need to be closer to the bulk line. It seemed like he put a trace of side on it that maybe didn't need to. So, plan B.
Plan B is back up for it.
It's a much better angle. You can drop this in there. There's a natural path for the white to come between yellow and red. Doesn't need to play it with any real pace. Just drop it in.
Nice and smooth.
Yeah, see that bottom one doesn't go. He's got to take. I think he was trying to play a little bit higher up the table so he could take the one over the pocket, the one adjacent to the pocket first. Because he has to pop the top one before the bottom one will go.
Extension.
And if he takes the one at the bottom of the table first, there's a lot of traffic to navigate. So he's going to take the top one out.
Yeah, bounce off the top cush.
What a lovely line.
Oh,
I say that.
Away.
I say a lovely line. It was a nice line, but he's overhit it by a good 8-9 inches. Pick the right line to come around the table and come through that gap. But now this is difficult. He can't hold for that yellow in the middle. So what does he do here? Can he maybe screw onto the black?
Hard shot. That.
It is very difficult, especially from the from in the pocket.
He's trying it anyway.
He's going to go around the table.
Round.
Wow. Well, he's given himself a chance.
Fine cut.
Yeah, very fine. May choose to double it if the double is there.
I don't think it is on the double.
Is the red just in the way? Yeah, I think it might be.
No, I don't think it goes.
No.
We'll see.
No, he's going for the cut. This is thin.
No.
Yeah, too thin. Literally had to shave it. So really good opportunity now for Scott to settle into this game and get himself on the board. It seemed to me watching Scott play a couple of times. Firstly, I think we saw him in the semi-final against Mark Farnsworth, and then obviously in the final, it seemed that he's a player that needs to settle into the game. He needs a couple of frames just to get his confidence up, and then just to find his rhythm.
Yes, well, before that game against Mark, he had a bad record against Mark.
Yeah.
And obviously, he's beat him there, and he beat him in the IPA win.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yes.
So he's got that monkey off his back.
Basically, yeah. Every time he played him, it was 10-9 or 11-10. It was always close.
Yeah.
But he'd never beat him.
So he's got these two at the top of the table. He's going to
Shot.
understand why he tried to split them out. Another player may have tried to just plant them along the rail, knowing that Chris has got an extremely difficult yellow from playing it from the top of the table, but totally understand why he's played to attack there. That's okay. He's got pretty long and straight to the bottom corner. If you do too much with the cue ball, you can just follow.
Struggling.
Wow.
He's struggling.
Yeah, he is a bit, isn't he?
Does that cut? Does that yellow cut?
No, I don't think it. Well,
Very thin.
I just don't know with Chris Melling, but I mean that's really fine. It doesn't cut. He's got the one cushion. He can come off the bottom rail, but then it doesn't give him any options on the black. I mean, even if he cuts it fine, the white's all over the place. He just can't hold it for the black. I think what he's going to do is come off one rail, come off the bottom cushion, play it with pace.
5, 4, 3.
Yeah, he was obviously trying to hit it thin.
I think he's actually came out fine.
Yeah, he's been fortunate. I mean, Scott's got this this one cut back into a blind pocket though.
Can they put that? No, you can't put that.
No, I think it cuts back into the bottom right. He's just going to play it safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. I don't think he's got the snooker though. Chris can see an edge. Yeah, he certainly can. What's he brewing up here?
10 seconds.
Yeah, trying the double, but it's a kind of forlorn hope.
Yeah. Another chance for Scott. Well, he's came back the wrong side.
Just not finding it at the moment, is he?
No, he's not.
The problem
really
is this will kind of manifest itself. You know, when it's not quite going right, it just builds up in your mind, doesn't it? You get a little
that's
bit
like
more
confidence,
frustrated.
yeah, and his arm's just not flowing.
That's better. That'll give him a lot more confidence, but he's going to have a tricky black. That's all he could
Well
do.
held.
Yeah, that's all he could do is drop it in and leave this. I mean, it is tricky.
This isn't yeah,
Very makeable.
Yeah, it isn't easy. Sure.
Great black,
Yeah.
really good. And he played it, well, yeah, he just played with absolute confidence. I mean, other players may have just thought, well, I'll take the bag just in case I miss it, but no such thought. He's
He's not really a safety player, Scott, at all.
powered that in with pace. Great shot. So he gets himself on the board and he trails by 3 frames to 1 to Chris Melling. Just looking around the room, Darren Appleton now 5-2 up against Matt Schofield. Dom Coomey and Matt Atasoy.
Dan Davies still 10 each.
Just got underway. Yeah, Dan Davey against Gareth Higgins, 10 apiece still. As you say, Gareth Hibbett's 1-0 up against Jez Graham. He's won the opening frame.
Jordan Church 5-3 up. Leo
Jamie
Rushman.
Murray, despite being on the clock, he must have turned up because he's flying as well. He's come straight in and he's 3-1 up against Leo Boomer. I think
Rob Chilton 4-2 up.
40.
Should take yellows.
Yellow ball's in play. 10 seconds. Attention.
So a quick look at the players' profiles as Scott works his way through these balls. It's sat in the seat at the moment, Chris Melling, otherwise known as the Magician. He's 39 years old. When asked who made his cue, he has no idea. He uses a century tip with an 8.3 mil. His list of achievements goes on. I won't go through it all, but World 8-ball champion ×2, World Masters twice, International Masters champion, European Masters champion, World Junior champion, and he's got accolades in China and the USA, and also played in 2 Moscone Cups. Started playing pool at the age of 3. When his parents bought him a small table. At the age of 9, his dad took him to the local pub, and that's where he fell in love with the game. Biggest influences are his mum and dad. His favourite player is Jason Shaw. Says that Jason reminds him of himself. That's a great shot by Scott. Used the black just to give himself a chance on this yellow. You fancy him this?
Big shot this.
Yeah, slightly hampered, but you still fancy him. Doesn't need to do too much with the cue ball. It's going to be a natural. Oh.
Angry with himself.
So, still to achieve in the pool world, he'd like to be the world 9-ball champion, and he wants to win other major events. He's won everything there is to win an 8-ball, and he's quite happy with what he's won. But I'm sure he'd like to add a Supreme Series title. So a unique fact about him is that he's the only person who has been a professional at 8-ball, 9-ball and snooker at the same time. And the best opponent he's ever played against is Mick Hill.
10 seconds.
He said Mick Hill at pool, Mark Selby at snooker, and Earl Strickland at 9-ball.
Should make it 4-1.
And his opponent, Scott Gillespie, Goobsy, aged 32. The sponsor is sat next to me, Mark Johnston. He's engaged to Melanie. He used the Craftsman's cue with a 9.2 mil Elk Master tip. First ever winner of the PPPO Apprentice Tournament. World Under 21 champion, World Under 21 runner-up, Jersey Open winner, National Cup, and of course he more recently won the Supreme Series Event 1.
Frame 6, crest to break, leading 4 frames to 1. Time running.
So he started playing, he was a snooker player, and swapped at the age of 17 to pool, as he didn't think he was quite going to make the grade at snooker.
Try again, Murray.
Greatest influence was his dad, who was a keen pool player back in the day. He used to go to the local snooker hall with him and his mates, and that's where he fell in love with cue sports. When he started playing pool, his favourite player was Derek Murphy. He said he made the game look so easy and very tough player to beat.
Yellow balls in play.
He looks up to McHale now. Says he's the GOAT, as they're now named, the greatest of all time. When he was asked about his anticipations for the pool series, he said he's not been this excited about a series since an event Santa ran, the old Dumbuck, £1,000 a man event.
Finalist there, he was. He could beat with Mick in the final.
Yeah. A funny story. Up until about 5 or 6 years ago, I couldn't play with side. So I used to just play plain ball. Amazing, isn't it? There's a player at the top of the game that really play with side. Looks pretty good with it now, though. But he is trailing at the moment. And it's Chris at the table. So obviously, Scott just struggling a bit now. I mean, what do you put that down to, really? Just early nerves? Is there an expectation?
Honestly,
won the first event?
Well, maybe he's feeling it a bit. But then Chris isn't really playing at his full potential, is he?
No.
So, I don't know. Tiredness, maybe long drive this morning we had.
Yeah.
He needs to get this arm going.
Yeah, fatigue can play a major factor for sure.
Yeah.
Darren Appleton looks like he's flying. He's 7-3 up against Matt Schofield. Ben Davis is in action now against Ben 40. That's again on one of our stream tables on table 11. Ben 40 is currently leading Ben Davis 2 frames to 1. Sanjay Patel 5-4 up now against Sean Chipperfield. Jordan Church 6-3 against Lee Washbrook. Ian Duffy 3-0 against Carl Howe. And Rob Chilton 4-3 up against Rich Wharton. John Rowe making somewhat of a comeback against Drew Hughes. He was 9-4 down. He currently trails 10 frames to 8. Gareth Higgins came through against Dan Davey in that Hill game. He won the decider. Been a lot of close games so far. If you're recently joining us, recognise that people will be finishing work and making their way home and joining us for this game. You've missed a fair bit of action so far. Start of the day saw Jordan Shepherd go across into the losing side, losing a Hill game against Ben Rowland. Mark Farnsworth got dumped into the losers side by Jack Whelan, 11 frames to 5. Max Nosko made a valiant comeback against Liam Dunster, but Liam won that game, 11-9. Oli Bell, who was a hot favourite, I think he was 1-5 favourite against Kevin George, is now in the losers' side, losing 11-9. Adam Davis came through a tough game against Phil Naylor. Greg Batten was another Hill game. He was never ahead until the last frame. And he won 11-10 against Daz Lightfoot. Half and Dad's through. Declan Brennan through in a Hill game. Tom Cousins swept aside the very unfortunate Paul Riley, making Tom Cousins in the first round of both of the last events. Shane Thompson through. Craig Lakin made very short work of Abdul Karim Barada. He won 11-1. Mick Hill against Mike King we saw on stream. Mike King, despite being 5-2 up, he lost 11-5.
Frame 7, Scott to
Yannick Beaufils through against Richard Toomey. Lee Clough the Tower is through. Jason Short is through against Chris Day. Craig Waddingham's through against Dave Fernandez. Carl Sutton's through. And a lot of games currently in play, which you can catch up with via qscore.com. If you search for Players Pool events, this is the Strachan Cup. So Not what Scott needed there, going in off the break.
Another chance for Chris here.
Yellow ball's in play.
And he should be making fairly short work of this one. Just 4 balls to pot. Sorry, 5 with the black. 3 yellows down off that break. If you can just hear a little beeping in the background, it's not somebody playing Space Invaders, it's a referee resetting his watch, because these guys are on the clock, 45-second clock, but Chris definitely not needing that at the moment. Flew through those. He's 6-1 up. Scott needs to establish himself now. John Rose won another frame, and now trails by 1, 10-9.
Frame 8, Chris to break, leading 6 frames to 1. Time running. Foul.
Scott get a chance here now.
1 visit at the table.
So there was a mistake from Chris, and well, these are the things that games can swing on.
Yeah, but yeah, Chris's breaks not been too hot today, but
No.
but he seems to be getting away with it. Scott's arms not flowing at all.
So the referee just having to mark a couple of balls to get the rack off. And that's the difference between the two players. Chris fairly happy to leave the rack on. Probably just way more experience in using it in America and over in China.
Time running.
And only really removes it if there's a necessity to do so. Other players prefer to get it off the table straight away, so it doesn't provide a distraction, and also gives them a few extra seconds thinking time to work out his pattern. So you'd think he'd take reds here.
Yeah, he's not one, maybe 2. Yeah, should.
I think. I mean, I only say that because of the red and yellow to the left of the black. I mean, either it really depends on what he wants to do with. He's going to have to do something with whichever set he goes for.
Yeah,
it just seems slightly more natural to.
He can't really fall further behind.
Yeah. So the red, it goes. He has to finish somewhere over near the left-hand rail. He can pot that. He doesn't need to move the yellow, whereas if he'd have gone the other way, he needed to move a ball.
taking the ball down the rail here.
It's not. It's still not plain sailing, but has to find this frame. So he's left a nice angle.
Looks good. Probably just right through it.
Yeah.
Long red.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't need to do anything silly. If he can finish fairly straight, it's. It's just off straight.
Yeah.
Could have been a bit straighter to make it easier, but I mean, it's at this level, it's pretty much a black off the spot, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know. Just a normal Scot just gets on that perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't need to do too much with the white. He can screw back into the yellow. In fact, it looks like he's
perfect.
going forward.
Well
Yeah,
done.
he played that really well. There was a nice gap he saw between the two yellows just to come off the side well and back out. Yeah, he played that really well. A lot more confident there. So it will be him breaking in frame number 9. So if he can get a breaking dish, there'll be a bit more pressure back on Chris. So he's given himself a bit of a glimmer.
Frame 9, Scott to break, trailing 6 frames to 2. Time running.
John Rowe, who has been behind against Drew Hughes all the way through. In fact, I think he was 9-4 down. He's pulled it back to 10 frames each, and he's showing why he was world champion. Not the best layout here. You've got to say yellows are definitely the better ball. So I say not best just because of that little cluster of 3, but it looks like he can drop in the one on the right and just hold for the other yellow. I don't know, I'm not sure. No, I don't think it does actually.
I think he'll need to kick it out.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something. He's got a nice angle to do that. It looked for a second that he could play the other one across the face of the red, but doesn't go. So
I think he's going to take it just now.
Yeah, he's got the right angle now.
10 seconds. Extension.
And if it does go wrong and he doesn't land on that one, he's got the plant into the middle. Yeah, that's a great shot. Really well controlled.
Well, if he takes this, it makes it interesting again.
Yeah, yeah. he can go forward here, can't he? Into
Yeah, you can tell that his body language, that he's starting to get a bit of rhythm going.
yeah, that's a nice shot. Yeah, he could have gone forward and taken the yellow in the middle, but this is a much better option. Opens up his opportunities now. He wants to take the one at the bottom of the table first. It's not the perfect angle. But you'd like to take that first and then come back up the table for these two, given where the black is. But
yeah, but that red might stop him.
yeah. Yeah, so he's deciding against it. I think this is the right way.
Oh,
He's got into it. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Given the angle, it's fairly natural just to come around two cushions. Don't think the angle takes him into that red, so he just needs to just run across the face of that red, leave himself somewhere around about the blue spot. Just trusting his cueing.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's still okay. I think he can get
And the
to
red stops the white as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's 6-3.
Great stuff. 6-3. So the pressure is just a little bit back on Chris now. Be on Chris's break. I mean, if he goes dry here, 6-4, and then back on Scott.
Which he has.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if actually
He's not breaking.
Chris has got a ball yet from the break. Drew Hughes and John Rose still 10 each.
Frame 10, Chris to break, leading 6 frames to 3. Time, Roy.
Oh, he's crunched that.
Yeah.
That had an entirely different sound to it.
The white I don't think is perfect.
It's not great. Really not. I'm not even sure where his opening ball is, to be honest. I mean, he's got...
Can they cut that yellow in?
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
either left. It's tight.
I think the only shot he's got is a really thin cut on the
In
red.
the red, yeah.
Mind you, this is Chris Melling. He's extremely inventive, so
Rebels in play.
he's nominated reds. So he's either seen something
10 seconds.
or he's going for this.
Extension.
Unless he can go long. Or does it go in the middle? Maybe it goes past the yellow in the middle.
Must be tight. Very tight.
Does just go.
Oh, he's...
Wow. Wow.
Loose Scott back at the table.
Yeah. That's all Scott can ask for. I mean, it's not a mouth-watering opportunity, but he'll just be glad to get back to the table and just try and establish himself in this frame. Don't really see too many attacking options. But as you said before, he's not a defensive player, is he?
No.
He's going to play a defensive shot here. That's
just as you say that.
yeah, yeah. I don't think that's going to work out for him, though. I think Chris can just nudge this one away and come off the top rail and snooker Scott. I think he could be in trouble. You can see him shaking his head. Chris has seen something else. Oh, he's seen an attacking option.
That was a good shot.
Yeah, very nice.
Surprised he's not actually took that top red.
Yeah, I was surprised about that, I guess. I guess the problem with it was position to the next ball. He was already on that one into the middle. I guess he thought he couldn't get on it much better. But plus, I guess it acts as a saver if he runs out of position on
that should be
on that shot.
Chris and Scott now finding their arm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the quality has definitely turned up a notch. Very nice frame from Chris. He re-establishes a 4-frame lead. He's 7-3 up.
Needs 4.
Yeah. Scott's got the break in the next one. So that Hill game with John Rowe is now completed. So let's see, John Rowe, he wins that one. Well, he completes the comeback. I mean, that is some comeback. As I say, I think it was 9-4 down. He was certainly 10-7, 10-8, 10-9, 10-all. He's won 5 on the bounce. Matt Brearley and Phil Harrison are just about to get underway. Phil, one of the favourites for the tournament. I say one of the favourites. He was 12-1, where the favourite was 3-1, but he was in the top 4 of the betting. Matt Atasoy, who bought a place in this event, is currently 3-0 down to Dom Coomey. Gareth Hibbett is in a game with Jez Graham. He leads 4 frames to 3. Victor Labar, another one of the French players, is playing Mike Clifford. He's 5-1 up. And Ben Davis is trailing Ben Forty. I've not seen Ben Forty play. I know he played a money match recently. I didn't get the tune. I think I watched a couple frames of it, not enough to get a feel for him. But I know he's been creating a lot of waves in the game of pool. Young lad, up and coming player. Well, he's currently 4-3 up against Ben Davis. So long way to go in that one, but maybe a shot brewing. Cy Fitzsimmons and Mark Asprey, Simon, fairly big favourite, and that is 4-all. Sean Chipperfield is opening up a lead against Sanjay Patel. He's 8-6 up. Lee Washbrook has made a comeback. Jordan Church has been winning that one all the way through. It was 6-all, it just ticked over again, and Jordan Church has just gone 7-6 up. Jamin Murray, having been late in turning up, is 6-2 up against Leo Boomer. Ian Duffy 5-0 against Carl Howe. And Rob Chilton 6-4 against Rich Wharton. So that gets you up to date with all of the scores. And a dry one from Scott.
Yeah, it's his first, I think, of the match.
That's a well-controlled shot. He's put a lot of side on that. He's controlled the pace really well. It would have been easy to overrun that.
Just going with the scores, a lot of top players are getting caught cold.
Yeah. I think Chris was trying to nudge that red just further down the table.
I think it can
that's
still
still good,
yeah.
isn't it? He's deciding against it. He's got the angle on the one down the bottom. He felt he couldn't get any better.
Yeah,
And
it's perfect.
That's a delightful shot.
Makes it 8-3.
Clinical stuff there from Chris Melling. He's got a 5-frame lead. Sanjay Patel's pulled another one back against Sean Chipperfield. He's now just one behind at 8 frames to 7. Gareth Hibbert's won another frame against Jez Graham. He's 5-3 up. Matt Brearley against Phil Harrison. Matt was saying that his last couple of games against Phil have been very close games. I think the last time they played it was 7 each. The time before that it was 8-6. So
yeah.
And that was reflected with the bookie as well. Phil, you'd have expected to be
strong favourite.
Yeah, quite a strong favourite.
Yeah.
But I think Matt was 1-3, and Phil was like, Matt was 3-1. Phil was, I can't remember exactly, like 4-6 or something. But maybe you expected him to be a bit more of a hot favourite in that, but they're old adversaries. They've played each other loads of times.
I've only saw Matt play once, and that was in Santa's Grand Amman tournament at Dundalk.
Yeah.
He drew Scott in the first round. Now Scott beat him. I can't remember the score, but he definitely beat him. But that was the first time I saw him. But he's a good player.
Yeah, I like Matt. He's a very focused player. I mean, he just grafts. He never ever. I mean, it's an old cliche, but he never knows when he's beat. I mean, even in the last event, you know, he was dead and buried, but he just keeps coming back at you all the time. They call him the robot, and he just does the same thing all the time. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go deep in one of these events.
Start of the match, Chris wasn't getting a ball from the break. He's flowing now.
Yeah, he's destroying it. And it looks like he's got that cue ball on a string
himself now.
Yeah. Making it look really easy. Us mere mortals know the game's not this easy. Well, I don't even think George needed to get his stopwatch out there. It's pointless even starting the thing up.
Less than a minute.
Yeah. I don't think he's called 10 seconds once, has he? Unbelievable stuff there from Chris. I see Mick Hill sticking around after his win. He's just in conversation. A group of 4 or 5 lads. Jason Shaw amongst them. Sharing a few anecdotes. I think, is that Arfan Dad as well? I can't see. I've got my glasses on. Yeah, Arfan. I was
Appleton as well.
Darren's got his back to us, yeah. Darren Appleton there as well. So I'm assuming that, well, obviously Darren's game's finished, and I would have to assume he was comfortably ahead. So looks like a fairly comfortable win for him.
Frame 13, Scott to break.
And indeed, he beat Matt Schofield 11 frames to 3. And Darren Appleton really just going from strength to strength. I think he's been going from strength to strength since he came back to the UK. I mean, it's...
Yeah, he's, as I say, he's a 9-ball player, and he just seems to turn his hand to everything now.
I remember having a really interesting... I commentated with him and just listened to some of his stories. And then we went up outside after he played one of his games, and he just said he's still just working out the physics of the cue ball because he's been away from it for so long, and how it comes off. He lost a hill game against Jason Shaw in one that he should have won. He messed up the position on the black, and he said, he's a big practicer, so he'll be back at the table, he'll be practicing, and all the time he's practicing, he's getting that memory back of what the cue ball does and how it works and the physics of it and how it comes off the cushion. And you knew then that there's a professional, a true professional, someone that studies the game, so it's someone that kind of looks in on themselves and kind of reflects on what they're able to look at their game and analyse what's wrong with it and how they need to improve it. Whereas a lot of other players, they don't know that, do they? I mean, I was talking to Gareth Potts on commentary, and he's able to almost take a step back from what he's doing and realise if something's going wrong, it's in his back elbow or in his back leg or in his front foot or in his... he just knows. And to be able to self-analyse, I think that's a great skill in its own. And there's probably
of course, Gillis well experienced.
Yeah,
he's well experienced ex-world champion.
Yeah.
Lovely guy. Scott again struggling.
Yeah, he's just not at the races today, is he? I mean, it looks for the world that he's going to be taking the long road back from the loser's side now. But
I'm afraid.
That he worked his way through the winner's side in event 1, so it might be might not be a bad thing. The trouble is the loser's side's a bit of a bloodbath as well, isn't it?
Well, it's first eights.
And when you look at the players that are in there as well, when you look your Farnsworth and your Shepherds and all that kind of stuff in there, there's no easy route through.
No, there's not at all. But sharing a room with Jason tonight, so hopefully Jason can have a word with him.
Yeah, it'll just be a time to... I mean, look, we're certainly not writing him off yet, but it's going to be a long road back from here. But you can go away and reflect, and all these things you just got to use them as learning experiences, isn't it?
Well, that's it. Just go away and relax. See what it brings.
That's just a ridiculous shit.
Yeah, that's just confidence now, women for him. When you're 9-3 up, that's what happens. They try and cut this down to the bottom noise. It's not. That's a great shot.
Wonderful shot.
Wasn't doing that shot at the start. Now he's just flowing. Yeah, well done. That's superb.
I tell you what, you fancy after this performance his price might have tumbled.
Yeah,
by a few points. I mean, to be fair, he didn't start. It wasn't flowing at the start of the game. Probably Scott's just given him a few more too many chances, hasn't he?
Well, that's it. I felt right at the start when Chris was missing, Scott should have really been punishing.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And
I think Chris was 3-1 up, and it should have been 3-1 to Scott.
Yeah.
But then Scott was called as well.
Yeah. and he's just never been able to find a foothold in the match. It's certainly not the Scott we saw in the semi-final, in the final.
Yeah, it was unstoppable.
As I say, it's you can take experiences from any of these games, can't you? You just use it as a positive, use it as a learning experience, and move on. You've got another life, so go make the most of it.
But this event, there's winning, but 15, 20 can win it.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
The guy there at the side of our camera there, Liam, he's very, very steady. Liam Dunster.
Round 14, Chris to break, leading 10 frames to 3. Time running. Full potty.
I actually fancy Chris to finish this now.
Yep.
Just the way he's playing.
Yeah. Couple of awkward balls there, but and Chris now just using his experience and just getting that rack move, getting himself an extra few seconds. And what he's doing, he's just having a look around the table, what order he wants to take them, what pattern. So, nominated yellows.
Should be out. Don't know, he's not happy about something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just, if you're going to be ultra critical, he's just slightly higher than he wants to be on this, but looks like he can just play through into the red. Just knock the red out of the way, like so. And now he's got a nice...
Yeah, if he gets this, that's it.
Yeah. He's just...
Yeah, it's
hard to see him missing, isn't it?
Seeing that, he's up against the cushion, he should get it.
That one just kept rolling. Yeah, it doesn't need to do anything with the white.
Yeah.
Well,
Scott's going through the hard way now.
Yep.
I think the winner of this plays Darren at Appleton now.
Oh, is it?
So that'll be a match.
Goodness me. What game that's going to be. Well,
yeah.
There we go. Great stuff. And that's Chris Melling progresses through with, well, I guess you'd say a fairly comfortable win against, not quite informed Scott Gillespie, but he's got overnight to regroup. He'll be back in action tomorrow morning. Chris Melling will be back in action later this evening. By the sounds of it, probably playing Darren Appleton then.
I think it is. I'm sure it is because,
wow. Mark, it's been a pleasure. Thanks very much
Thanks a lot for that.
For your time. We're back again after this one with Mark Boyle playing against Ben Tanner. I think they're both literally back off a flight. Mark Boyle flew back in this morning from Turkey. Ben Tanner's just come back in from China. So both could well be jet lagged. I think I'm on commentary with Chris Melling, so we'll be able to hear all about that one. And Chris will be in the studio in just a couple minutes with Lee Kendall for an interview. And we'll see you all again in probably about, I think the next round is due to get off about 5:30, so we might have about an hour break now after this interview, but I'm sure that Lee will let you know. See you again soon.
Well, I'm joined by Chris Melling. That was some performance, Chris. I thought you played very well for what I saw of it.
Yeah, Scott made a few unforced errors, which he doesn't normally do, but I felt that I put the pressure on him. I didn't make silly mistakes. I missed a stupid shot. The first frame, I was a little bit nervous. Obviously, just going into the game against the reigning champion at the last event, the pressure's really on me. But I'm feeling good and confident, and hopefully I'll keep playing like that.
Yeah, and it was a tough draw. You know, there's 128 runners, and you drew the winner of the last event, as you just said. So it wasn't an easy start for you.
No, but the thing is with me, I mean, a lot of people said to me today and on Facebook that you've got a tough match, you've got Scott Gillespie, you've got this, and my reply to that is, well, they've got me. You know, I want to play the best players. That's I've always. You've known me a long time. I've always been like that.
You've never said any different, and every time I've been to you, you've always said the same. But in reality, it was a tough match.
Very tough match. Yeah, I mean, I've got the utmost respect for Scott. I'm good friends with him. Brilliant player on and off the. Brilliant player on the table, off the table, a brilliant guy.
Yeah, lovely chap. Yeah. But no, I mean, tough match, and your next one doesn't get any easier. Your old mate from the 9-ball side, Darren Appleton.
Was it? Oh, that's a good draw.
A good draw.
That's a good draw.
You beat him in the recent World Championships convincingly. Do you think?
Yeah, well, obviously.
Oh, it was in the Masters, sorry.
Yeah, obviously me and Darren are great friends, and I beat him. I think it was 7-4 in the World Masters. I think it was first or second round. Again, obviously, great player, great guy, and you've got to play at the best of your game to have a chance.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably get that one in the arena for people to watch, and that's 10:30 tonight.
10:30?
10:30, yeah. So stay tuned for that one. Another match up in a moment. And good luck to Chris, and we'll see you in a few moments.